Welcome to News Strip Down, where I dig through the news and weed out all the nonsense so you guys don't have to. 30 minutes or less, because anything longer than that's just BS. Today is July 24th, 2026. It is Friday today. End of the week for anybody who it really matters to. It is 26 degrees Celsius. That is 78.8 degrees Fahrenheit to you guys down in the States. And let's start off with birthdays. Today, July 24th, 1821, the gangster William Poole, aka Bill the Butcher, he passed in 1855 at the age of 33 to a gunshot wound. Bill the Butcher, he was a knife guy. They made a movie about him. So was it the not Lords of New York or something like that? The Gangs of New York. That was built based on Bill the Butcher. And then today, in July 24th, Amelia Earhart was born in 1897. She disappeared. Actually, this is kind of funny. They have her at age 41 of her passing. She wasn't declared dead until 1939, but she actually disappeared in 1937. So she would actually be 38 years old today. Well, when she passed. And then today, July 24th, 1964, Barry Bonds is 62 years old today. Played 22 seasons for the Major League Baseball, and then 15 of them through with San Francisco. And then today, July 24th, 1969, Jennifer Lopez is 57 years old today. Jennifer Lopez, singer, songwriter, what's his name, Jay-Z's love affair thing there. And then today, July 24th, 1982, Elizabeth Moss is 44 years old today. She's on the TV show The West Wing, and then in that movie Handmaid's Tale in 2017. What's up, DJ? Yeah, you don't have school on Fridays, do you? Or you just do half days? Oh yeah, it's summertime, duh. I don't know. Can you tell I don't have kids? So yeah, welcome to News Strip Down, where I dig through the news and weed out all the nonsense so you guys don't have to. 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything else longer is just BS. Today is July 24th, 2026. It's Friday for anyone who it matters. It is 26 degrees Celsius. That is 78.8 degrees Fahrenheit to you guys down in the States. Here, where should we start? Yeah, let's start with this. The first one. Nah. Doesn't really matter. A lot of people don't watch this till later. So, over to Canada here. Canada's Prime Minister is going to have to start looking for some pharmaceutical plan when it comes to Canadians. Trump is sounding some alarms here where he's saying he's going to put 100% tariffs by August 2028. So that gives Canada about a year and a half to kind of figure out a solution when it comes to generically made pharmaceuticals. But this really isn't a big problem. What was it, in 2023, about $6.75 billion worth of Canadian generic pharmaceuticals were actually going into the United States. And this is direct quotes and direct statements from the American Medical Association. So these are set in stone like numbers here right now. So to really say that, well, and then there's other countries that we can be dealing with too, like Switzerland is a major pharmaceutical company, Germany, which Canada already has a pretty good agreement with right now, obviously. And then there's China, India, and Japan. Also the United Kingdom when it comes to pharmaceuticals. But the way China's going right now, I think they're going to need all the pharmaceuticals they can make themselves. So I think they're going to be limiting their pharmaceutical exports to themselves, just keeping it to themselves. But really, the only thing this is really going to hurt is pretty much the Americans. And then even this, in 2023, almost 45% of penicillin that was imported into the US was from China. And every country is going to be subject to this 100% tariff as of August 2028. And so what this really comes down to is well, not just Canadians, but Americans that could be purchasing penicillin for just basic stuff that could save your life. I know a lot of people, you say you have an ear infection, there's not a lot of ways to treat that besides taking some form of penicillin. And now, if this does come into act, within the first year, it's going to be 100%. After that, the next year, before Trump leaves office, because he's in office until 2029. So before he leaves office, he's going to bump that up to 200%. And just with the 100% right now, with just trending trades on like pharmaceuticals just here in Canada, you could be looking at around $64 to $82 for one prescription of penicillin. And like, think about what it's going to cost. This is going to vary depending on your insurance carrier and your insurance brokers, or how your Medicare or Medicaid works, depending on your Blue Cross, whatever, how your coverage works. But that's gonna be a little bit ridiculous. Like, people who could, be easily saved are gonna be paying like double for their medication. And just simple little things like how much penicillin is like going through the United States. Like, obviously quite a bit. But it's really just gonna hurt America more too. Like I said, the 79% of generic medications were coming out of Canada. So if Trump puts this tariff on there, it's going to hurt Americans too. You guys are going to be paying the price too. We're going to get backlash for it too. And then some more US news here today. I've been kind of on a nuclear craze here right now, because everyone's kind of complaining about these data centers. How are we paying for these data centers? What's happening with these data centers? And all of a sudden now, like, a lot of this nuclear talk right now, especially here in Canada and the US. But specifically in the US right now, US based Standard Nuclear is going to be building two TRISO manufacturing plants, one in Tennessee, one in Idaho. And this will increase America's domestic production of tristructural isotope nuclear fuel. This TRISO is specifically designed for the next generation reactors. And this is kind of funny that we're hearing about this right now, because just days ago, they just tested out the Mark Zero US military made reactor, where they got it to go critical. But the next step for them to do that is now to go critical and actually put electrons together and make energy. So that's the next step for them. There's no specific date when they're going to do that, but by the sounds of it, they're going to be testing this at some military base somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be based in America or where they're going to be doing this next test. But this is obviously like a direct result. This deal that's happening between Standard Nuclear. Like, there's this question of where are we going to get this fuel from? Like, that, I know, like, when it comes to like a nuclear fuel, that's precious minerals, and there's only so much of that precious minerals around. There are companies that are that are taking certain spent fuel rods and recycling them, and then saving about, I don't know, about 60% with about 20% waste. But this, by the looks of this TRISO nuclear fuel here is pretty much designed specifically for these smaller reactors. So when it comes to data centers and people wondering where all this power is going to come from, like, this was a military-based reactor, okay? It was designed by the military, but like I said earlier this week, what's to stop Trump before he leaves? This reactor is supposed to be up and running by 2028, fully operational and tested at a base. So what's to stop him from doing an executive order, going above Congress to domesticate this reactor for public use? Like, not public use, but for civilian, purposes. So yeah, a little bit scary, but there's our answer to where all this nuclear fuel is going to be coming from. Canada's doing the same thing right now. They're investing heavily into, producing their own nuclear fuel. I think I talked about that last week. Sorry, my head's still a little foggy, but yeah, Canada just spent a bunch of money on developing their own nuclear fuel here. And then that nuclear fuel is supposed to be going elsewhere as well. And then some Canada news. Well, Ecuador and Canadian news. So we're down south in South America here in Ecuador. So Ecuador and Canada signed a free trade deal this morning that will allow 99.6% of its exportable goods to enter Canada completely duty free. This is going to cover like fruits, vegetables, technology, data, pretty much everything across the board. I'm pretty sure that 4% that's not going to be exportable tariff free, it's probably going to be stuff like cigarettes. That's probably what it's going to be. But, and there's really no set when this is going to be ratified at all yet. I tried finding a date. There's still some discussions that need to be held here between the two countries. And then from that next step, then everything should start getting ratified. Deadly. What's up, Summer? So yeah, welcome to News Strip Down, 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer is BS. Today is Friday, the 24th, 2026. Yeah, I'm here Monday to Friday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. And some more Canadian news. Canadian government is trying to block a deal. Well, Canadian Canadian officials are trying to block a deal between the U.S. agency that will pay Canadian media company $125 million for use of their investigative database to detect immigration fraud. A.V. Lewis from the NDP party up in Canada is asking Mark Carney to reconsider doing any types of data sharing with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE. Okay. Well, happy birthday, a headed birthday, I guess. But this is kind of funny. This is going to be pretty hard for this Canadian, media company, and we're talking about Thomson Reuters here right now, and really to turn down $125 million to just hand over your data. I think that's probably going to be pretty hard. Like for Carney to tell them to, you probably shouldn't do this deal. Carney's going to have to put something on the table to make this worthwhile for them too. Like maybe some free access, some better media coverage, better information. Start throwing some dirt at us about some other politicians or something. It's like as $125 million, and as a company and as a corporation, it's that'd be hard for me to turn down for sure. uh, and then speaking of nuclear technology and stuff, I was talking about Canada and their steps to in nuclear technology. The Canadian Strategic Missions Corporation was given $4.5 million through the Government of Canada to accelerate its micro nuclear technology for Canada's Arctic. So yeah, Canada, it's hard to get power to these remote locations. Nuclear small fusion reactors is probably definitely the way to go. Russia's been doing this actually for quite a while now. This is nothing new. Russia actually has vessels like boats they take to remote communities with nuclear reactors that are powering these remote communities. So not sure if we're going to see something in the guidelines of that, but I think we're going to see more something like stationary stuff in Canadians Arctic when it comes. And by the sounds of it, this is going to be for military use, but the way things are going in the United States with these micro reactors, could start seeing this for domestic use, not just military use. So see what happens. And then Over to China. China's Binzhou group has just reached commercial scale production of a high purity hydrogen fluoride that is needed to make advanced semiconductor that is used in advanced semiconductor manufacturing. It's kind of described as like a scalpel when it comes to surgery. It's very precise and it's integral. It's very integral when it comes to making very advanced computer chips. So China is definitely on their way to making advanced computer chips. Definitely, by the sounds of it, not as advanced as what America is doing right now when it comes to their computer chip technology. Because I know China right now is dying for what America has when it comes to computer chips. They're really pushing to get these things, and I don't think it's necessarily for like espionage reasons. It's just the way that the US is producing their microchips is just so much more advanced than what China could ever do right now. But China is definitely on their way to getting as advanced. But is it possible to play catch up game? Like the one facility that they have making these microchips down in the United States right now, I think there's only two of these machines that are completely capable of doing what this machine can do, of making these type of microchips. And right now they're saying this machine is already maxed out to its capacity. Like they cannot go any more microscopic to make any more computer chips. So they're going to have to find some new form of design when it comes to making microchips, because like even if China does adapt this machine that makes these computer chips, are they going to be able to advance? Because right now, the United States, when it comes to making microchips, is pretty much come to a standstill. This is about as far as they can go with it. So we'll see what happens. But China's definitely on their way on doing that. And then worldwide, here's some worldwide. This affects a little bit of everyone here, you guys. So Ford just recalled the 2021 to 2026 Broncos and Bronco Raptors due to faulty wiring harnesses in the engine compartments that could catch fire. So this will affect about 36,000, just over 36,000 vehicles in Canada and Canadians. And worldwide, this is going to affect around 560,000 Bronco owners worldwide. And what's kind of funny is Ford is saying that, this could only be 1% of the wiring harnesses could be faulty. 1%? I call BS, absolute BS, because they would not be doing this recall of this magnitude if it was just 1%. It's this is totally asinine, totally asinine. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So obviously Ford is lying through their teeth completely. So that's pretty messed up. Good old Ford and automakers. It reminds me of that movie Fight Club, where he's sitting there explaining what he does, where he works for that auto company, and how he's an adjuster, where he figures out if they should do a recall. Yeah, A plus B equals C, and then we do a recall. So I wonder how many people were burned alive in those Broncos for them to have to do a recall. Oh, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the news today, you guys. It's Friday. I don't do news on weekends because even the news needs a break. I wish the media would do the exact same thing. All they play on the weekends is the same drivel from the week before. But yeah, I will be back for Monday's show. I'm here Monday to Friday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. News stripped down, 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that is BS. And like I said, 30 minutes or less, I'm done. You guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather if it's nice while you're out there. And I don't know, wear your sunscreen. Who cares if it gives you cancer? It's probably better than the sunburn you're going to have to deal with for a week or two. And the scratching. That's probably the worst after. But I'll see you all on Monday for Monday's show, 4 o'clock Central Time. And yeah, like I said, you guys have a great weekend. And yeah, Enjoy yourselves. Go get wet. Go jump in a lake. Go jump in a lake, you hosers. Okay, peace out.